I'm just an old single person doing it by itself.
Our seniors need the help. They laid good foundations. I'm 80 years of age.
I couldn't even make a step. I couldn't stand, I couldn't dress myself.
A place to live, a place to cook, a place to eat means so much to you.
I was dying, literally dying. And I was in the hospital for, I suppose, a year.
I just hope that our younger generation can become more embracing of grandma and great-grandma.
I've had many challenges in my life. I've been very ill for the last 30 or 40 years.
What is dementia? Not knowing what that meant and what could happen through this process. One day she can get up in the morning and know how to get into the bathtub, and this is a recent story, where simply she would get up, run her bath water, and get in. Pretty simple, we all do it. To the very next day, her waking up and not knowing what the bathtub was, how to turn on the water, and let alone what is she supposed to do when she gets in the bathtub. Why that's difficult is because, for obvious reasons. One, it brings on a level of stress. Then everything we know in life, that stress is, if not the number one, very top health problem that causes all these other problems. So I don't want to have this stress. My kids don't have that grandma like I had her as a mom.
So I actually currently take care of my grandfather and my mom, and just until a couple of weeks ago I was taking care of my grandmother who recently passed away. Taking care of my folks is a daily thing, you know, organizing their medicine, cooking all of their meals, washing clothes, helping them to the bathroom and from the bathroom, maintaining the house, actually making sure that you know, they're clean, so giving them baths, you know, laying out their clothes. Like, these are things that I do every day. Because of where we live, there are actually 27 steps getting up to our actual house. And so one of the things that we've been pushing for and we really need right now is a stair lift, not just for my grandfather, but for my mom as well. My mom is actually, she suffers from COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and emphysema, and so that requires her to be on continuous oxygen, which takes a lot out of her in terms of her walking. And so for us, the need is really making sure that they're able to get around and be mobile, not just outside of the house, but here as well. And so the need for them to have a stair lift is really important.
I was a couch bouncer, a house mover. I was battered in ways I didn't think an individual could be battered by well-meaning friends, because most of the places I went, there wasn't space for me. I was on the couch, in the living room, in the way, trying to change clothes, trying to go different places.
I felt helpless. With nobody, couldn't do nothing for myself because I'm an independent person. I felt like I was a bother. I was a hinder to them. For them to have to come all the way from Sacramento and from Vallejo, but they did. They told me it was no problem, but I know it was a problem.
I have problems now since I've had the amputation. I've had problems going up and down my steps because I haven't been fitted for the prostheses as of yet. And I have to go up and down on my butt. So this is the way I'm going up and down the steps. And I move around in the house with my walker and wheelchair. It affects my ankle. My ankle is hurts because of all the pressure that's going on one ankle. And when I do get upstairs, I just have to sit and let the soreness go down. And there's nothing I can do about it. If I want to go up and down the steps, that's the only way I can go up and down the steps. I don't have anyone coming in. I have some friends that come over occasionally, and if I need something done around there, they'll help me out and all of this. But other than that, I'm just an old single person doing it by itself.
87% of senior ex-offenders, and that's not only with seniors, most offenders, have an issue with mind, mood altering substances, and it doesn't allow you to make rational decisions. And then you've got the barrier of this individual, a man or female, that said, well, I've been doing this a long time, so I've got layers and layers of stuff that I have to break through to be able to reach them. To their life is significantly better if they don't have chemicals in them.
I was out on the street. I never lived with my mom until after I had a stroke and I had nowhere to go. I slept in a chair with my head on the desk for about 14 months. Having a place to stay, a place to live, a place to cook, a place to eat means so much to you.
I'm an Afro-American, Vietnam era, black, female, 61-year-old, senior, homeless, disabled vet. I've had Section 8 housing before, vouchers before. This is the first time I've ever run into discrimination of being a female, being a senior. All the new buildings that they're building now, I was very disheartened to the fact that you have to be 62. It's hard though, looking every day. Plus it's hard trying to survive every day.
I see too many veterans that's out there in the streets, and they have no reason to be in the streets. They done went to war, they done did all kind of things, but to them, they've given up. They've given up. Seniors, military personnel, they need help. They need to be informed of what is going on, what is actually happening with them, what they can do, what they can't do, why they can't do this, and why they can't do that.
When I did get out the service, being I already had a few issues on my back, I ended up spending a lot of periods of homelessness. And I ended up living in the streets, Since anyone knows who lived in the streets, that entails criminal activities and, just fending for survival, basically. This happened for years, and next thing I know, I started coming in contact with law enforcement, which led to long periods of incarceration.
So I was suffering both with the depression of the loss of my home, which I thought I had for the rest of my life, and living with well-meaning people and trying to keep their hours and their rules and their regulations. And it was the worst experience of my life. And homelessness had always been an issue with me. I'd always worried about not having a place to live.
The solution would be for the government to get behind the banks and all of these lenders and make sure that they're being honest when they loan this money out and have these people to sign these papers. It is ludicrous to have someone to sign papers to borrow on property that's above the amount of money that's in the property. And they know that when they get them to sign it. And they know that they're going to lose it. And our seniors don't know that. They think that, oh, I'm giving you a good deal. For who? Not for the senior. Next thing we know, the seniors is losing the home. They're depressed. They feel like all is lost. So it's no hope. We want the government and the banks to give us hope.
The Adult Day Health Center, my mother, Grandma Sadie, comes here 5 days a week. Interesting, but the state is not supporting her financially to come here 5 days a week. The state is only supporting her financially to come 3 days a week. So first of all, I have to say the Adult Day Health Center is helping and supporting us by allowing my mother to come those 2 extra days. She comes home and talks about her friends that she sits next to, that she interacts with on a daily basis. The friends that she has here with the other clients are her friends. That's it. Those are the folks who are her friends. And on days where she thinks she's not coming to the center, she won't have it. She absolutely won't have it. She will not let us keep her at home.
I just feel like without Bayview Health Center, I wouldn't be where I am today. They've been such a support to me. I get up every morning looking forward to coming here. Because when I came here, I couldn't even make a step. I couldn't stand, I couldn't dress myself. But since I've been here, I've made a great improvement.
We're here now, we've been here, we've paid our dues, we've helped others come along. It's nice to see that somebody wants to take the time to hear what we've done, what we've been through, what we're going through.
A lot of community service and a lot of people knowing me and knowing my plight and knowing my situation brought me to Armstrong Place, where I am extremely happy. With the best day, the worst day at Armstrong beats the best day being homeless.
Sometimes when people are not focused on what you need and focused on what they think, you're not getting the support and help you really need. But since I've become a member, I'm a member, I'm a family member of 1250 LaSalle. And I feel like anything I need is here. Anything I need is here. If I can't walk, they got walkers. If I can't use that, they have wheelchairs. They have the doctor's number to call, or ambulance to call right away if I need to get to the hospital. So I'm very pleased and I'm very happy coming to the community center.
Stop cutting the funding. The fact is, we can't do anything. Adult Day Healthcare Center cannot provide all the things services I just described for my mom without money. It can't happen. I can't leave my mom in a house and lock her up while I go to work, while my husband goes to work, my children go to school, and lock her up like an animal in a zoo and go away and come back home. That's not human. That's not loving. And if they keep cutting services, what do they expect? What will people like me and my family, what will we do for our elderly?
Just put the money where it's needed, where it can help people. But of course, we've got to spend $150,000 on a commission to look at homelessness, and then we've got to spend $250,000 to have an experiment done and get some stats and statistics when all you could do is do a shelter. There is a need for the resources. Help us to supply people with the needs. We're here to do the work, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would appreciate it. And I think if they did it from the perspective of they have an uncle, they have a father, they have a grandfather, what would they want for them? They would want for them to have some humane treatment. So if you're in the position of being able to do that with some funding and some support, they need to write some bills specifically for the senior ex-offenders that have given to this community, this country. They've offered information, advice, they've served in the service and did for our countries and our communities, and not forget about them when it comes to policy.
If there was enough honesty, instead of so much greed, because that's what it is. There is too much greed in our government. There's too much mockery in our government. If they would stop all of the confusion and look at the real problems and come to the bargaining table to iron out these problems, we wouldn't have them. But we have them because our priorities are in the wrong place.